Good morning, everybody. How you doing today? My name's Andrew.
I'm Pop Pop.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Joel.
I'm Kelly.
And we're some of the Veggie boys.
I guess.
And we'd like to thank you for stopping by. If you're new here, please consider subscribing because we can grow a lot of stuff on the farm, but one thing we can't grow is this channel without your help. I hope you tomatoes are enjoying your last day in the germination greenhouse. We've got some big plans today. It's gonna be a busy day, not only here at the farm market, but we're also gonna be doing a lot of transplanting. Our goal really is to get as much transplanted today as possible. We're gonna be starting off with some cucumbers and zucchini, and then we're gonna be moving into tomatoes. So the tomatoes in this greenhouse, oh, they are getting kicked out of here today. Well, actually, I should be careful what I say because we do have some more tomatoes in here that are a little smaller, but this is gonna be our second planting. As you've already seen, we have our T5120 hooked up to our wagon. We have a few plants on the back here. Here are some of those cucumbers, and then right here I have some zucchini. Then I also have yellow zucchini and yellow squash. This wagon's gonna be a big help to us today because it's gonna be lugging around this large tank of water. This is gonna make fill up super easy for us. It's gonna be a big time saver. Before we can head out and start transplanting though, we do need to get our chores taken care of, which is where we're off to now. I just got finished grating eggs and I had to show you, we've got 2 full boxes, 53 dozen of eggs. That'll go quick. Dad and I just fed the last of the animals, and Daniel is in the greenhouse. He's doing some watering. Chores are just about finished, which is a good thing. We moved through it pretty quickly today. We want to get out to the fields. And I want to introduce everyone to this new calf. Whoa, calm down. He is crazy, very crazy. Notice we had to put this over the top. Okay, I'm leaving you alone, but that's a crazy calf right there. I'm leaving. We just loaded a few things up onto our little wagon here that we want to get planted today. We have some parsley over there in the corner, flat leaf and curly. We have some heirloom tomatoes, we have basil, and then we finally have cantaloupe, honeydew, and watermelon. During harvest time, heirloom tomatoes are not our biggest sellers, but we always try and plant a few so that we can keep everybody happy. And then with the watermelons and the cantaloupes, to be completely honest with you, we stopped growing these, but now we've started again. We have a huge problem with birds where we live, especially crows, so we've been doing a good job at keeping them off of this stuff. I mean, it's never perfect, but hopefully this year will be another great year for it. It was so much fun picking cantaloupe and watermelon last year, especially when it tastes as good as it did. Air conditioner's blowing. It's not driving to the tree today. Now I'm gonna take my time going down there because I've got this huge water tank on the back, and that's the last thing I want to lose today.
Avatar? 3 avatars.
3 avatars. It feels good to be back. First thing we're getting started with today is cucumbers. And once we finish off these cucumbers, we'll be moving on to zucchini. For those of you that have never seen us use this piece of equipment, it's pretty straightforward. We have 2 water tanks that will supply us with water. The water is injected into the wheel that is spinning. As the wheel spins, you can see the spikes on it. Those spikes are poking holes down into the biodegradable mulch, giving us an opportunity to plant the plants into those sections. Now what's interesting is with each time that the wheel goes around and with every hole it pokes, it leaves a little bit of water in each hole. And that makes transplanting much easier, not only on us and our hands, but it also makes it easier on the plant. As the water absorbs into the soil, it basically absorbs the plant into the soil, giving it a great start. We've used this for a very long time. It has worked, and it allows us to have beautiful stands when it comes to whatever crop we're transplanting. Now today we have many different crops that we're going to be doing. For the most part, it is going to be single wheel until we get to the peppers. When it comes to peppers, we do double wheel. But right now, things are going very smoothly. And when you work together, you have two people like Daniel and I, so smooth. You don't have to worry about too much. I worry about filling one, Daniel fills the other, and if I miss one, Daniel can fill in one. Oh! Whoa, did you see that big rock move me? Uh-oh. Hold on 1 second, Dad. A rock pushed Andrew all the way out. A rock just picked it up and moved me. Ah, there's no rocks in this field. We picked all the rocks, right, Daniel? Oh, you missed that one. That's a fat one. Now, Daniel and I are each on our last tray of cucumbers, so we're gonna have to coordinate to make sure that we finish at the same time. Not that it would be a problem if you get all your plants mixed up, but I don't know why it bothers us so much. Probably because it just doesn't look clean. We want our plants to look nice as well. So we're gonna try and finish out with cucumbers at the same exact time and then switch over to zucchini. This is my last tray, and that right there is Daniel's last tray. We have a few more cucumber plants, which is a good thing, because this row that we're backing up over, the deer ate this end of the field off. You can see there are tracks on the mulch. There's one, there's one. They've been putting holes in it from walking on it. And yeah, they took a munch out of basically this end of the field. So we just got to replant this little section. And I don't understand why they only ate the cucumbers and not the pickling cucumbers, but they did. This will happen occasionally, that the deer and other animals will mess with your crops when they are first planted. These plants are on the tender side, especially when they're young like this. A lot easier for the animals to eat them. Now, as the cucumbers get older, they get like spines on the plants, and then the animals don't really want to bother them too much, but that's something we have to be concerned about. And that's the last of the cucumbers we're going to be transplanting. Daniel and I are going to be starting off with yellow squash, then yellow zucchini, and then into green zucchini. Daniel has the yellow squash, I have the yellow zucchini, so we're just going to let Daniel plant out his tray, and then I'm going to plant out my tray. Yellow squash is done, on to yellow zucchini. And just like that, we got the yellow zucchini and yellow squash transplanted. Now we're on to regular zucchini. When you have small plantings like this, you can move through it rather quickly. These fields are a little on the shorter side, but we're gonna be making plenty of passes, so it'll add up in the long run. I'm not planting in that one. What's wrong with that one? There's a giant rock in the way. I wasn't gonna break my fingers there. You calling me a baby?
Disrespected that rock.
I wasn't gonna break my fingers for it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm not like you, Daniel. You're a professional.
That's why I'm leaving once Jill gets here.
Why don't you just mind your own business on that side of the planet? Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. I don't want to deal with you.
I am allowed to talk to you because
well, I'm just not gonna listen.
you have me here.
I'm just not gonna
keep
listen.
talking the whole time.
Of course you are. That's what you normally do.
You know, this morning
Daniel, I said leave me alone. We're all finished with the zucchini and cucumbers, but now we're moving on to cantaloupe and honeydew. Daniel is planting the honeydew right now, and I'm just moving some cantaloupe down so it's easier for us to grab. If you've never seen honeydew plants before, I feel bad for you because they look amazing. But what's better than how they look is how they smell. They smell like honeydew. That's one of the great things about this variety of plants called cucurbits. Man, the plants smell so good. Like these smell like honeydew. The cucumbers we were just transplanting, they smell like cucumbers. I will say this is like one of the best smelling plants you can do.
Have you ever had cucumber Gatorade?
Cucumber what?
Gatorade? Sorry, it's really
You don't like
bad.
the cucumber Gatorade?
My wife got the Gatorade one time when we were coming home from Florida.
And it just didn't taste good?
Oh no, she opened it in the car.
And what did it smell like?
It smelled like cucumbers.
You like cucumbers.
Really strong cucumbers though.
But you like cucumbers.
Rotten cucumbers.
Oh no. Daniel is finishing up the last of the honeydew, and here are my cantaloupe. That's why it's so important for us to talk to each other while we're doing this, because the plants look very similar, and we don't want to get confused and have our plants all over the place. We want them all in the same row so that everything can be easier during harvest time. That's gonna be a lot of honeydew and cantaloupe. Daniel's gonna eat a lot of it.
That is correct.
Just finished off the cantaloupes. Now Daniel and I are moving some stuff around on the planter. We have a few different types of watermelon. We have some yellow watermelon, we have sugar babies, and then we have basically a crimson sweet variety. So we had to split up the yellow because we only had one tray of that. Now Daniel's going through the variety that's like crimson sweet, and then we're also gonna have the 2 sugar babies next. So we're just gonna go right through and plant what we have. Like I said, it's not gonna be a crazy amount of watermelons, but it'll be plenty for us. Thank you. Starting off first with our yellow watermelon. We just went through our first tank of water. We made a lot of progress. Now we have a little submersible pump that we're gonna be using to pump the water from our tank into our tanks that are on our planter. And let me just say, this is what we call convenience. This is very nice.
We might have to unhook this.
In we go. Woo! Perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. We have got a beautiful day on our hands today. The view is just unbelievable. Look at those skies. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else today. Running the water wheel transplanter on a day like this doesn't get much better. Oh, watch out, it's coming out! Oh, that was close.
That's powerful. Yeah.
All filled up with water and ready to go again. The only thing that's going to be a little different this time is once we finish off our watermelon, we're moving right into tomatoes. And the type of tomatoes that we're going to be planting is a plum tomato, specifically Mariana. Mariana is a plum variety that we've planted for many, many years. You may have even heard it before. However, it's something that we really, really like, and we're going to continue planting until we can.
Every time.
That was a little scary. Daniel's got the last of the watermelon that needs to be transplanted. Then we're moving on to tomatoes, and we are starting plum tomatoes. Now the fact that we're doing plum tomatoes now doesn't change a whole lot. It's still the same concept as when we were transplanting the watermelon. It's just something new going into the soil. I mean, it's an exciting day when you start doing tomatoes for the first time of the year. I think we all look forward to this moment when we finally are starting to put plants into the ground. And every time you add a new crop into the soil, I just look forward to harvest so much more. We got a few of the tomatoes planted, but now that we're at the other end of the field, we're gonna grab some of this dill that we have and then a few other of the herbs that we had brought out. We wanna make sure that we get some herbs planted on the edge so that when we're driving by, we can remember to grab them. It doesn't take too long to harvest herbs, but when you have them in the middle of the field, sometimes you miss them. So that's why we're doing them right by our little road that we made. Another reason why we wanted to do it like this and why we planted the watermelon and cantaloupe in the middle is so that the vines don't grow out onto the road and we don't end up running over new cantaloupes that are growing or even cantaloupes that are ready to pick. You gotta think about these things when you're planting all different types of veggies. Well, I should say fruits, veggies, and herbs. So let's see, we have dill, then we have basil, curly parsley, flat parsley, and then we have some stuff on top. The stuff on top is the Italian oregano and some rosemary. That's gonna be going in last though. Working on this planter is not difficult at all, as you guys have seen. Sometimes it can be a little distracting when you're going from different types of plants to different types of plants, but that's why communication is so key. Now we're transplanting some basil. This stuff looks really nice. It is on the smaller side, but that shouldn't be a problem. It can take a little bit longer to go through like all these different varieties and different types of plants, but it pays off in the long run. The fact that you have so much variety in your fields, it really attracts in many different customers, and the customers appreciate it. It is nice to have your own basil and your own herbs, especially out in the field, because if you really need a lot, then you have no trouble finding some. And our family does a lot of cooking. So although the main goal is to sell most of this stuff, we also eat plenty of it as a family too. So that's one of the biggest reasons why we enjoy putting so many different varieties out here. Not only does it pay us in the long run through the farm market, but it pays off when we're eating dinner. And we love our dinner. We just finished off the curly leaf parsley, and now we have the flat leaf parsley. So it's in these larger pots, but we have to break them apart. So not too bad. Just want to make sure that we get the root ball down into the soil deep enough. We don't normally transplant them like this, but we only have a few, so it's not a problem. That's gonna finish off the herbs. Daniel and I both agree that we smell pretty good, and we're now hungry. It smells like pizza out here. Now all we have to worry about is transplanting tomatoes. Hassle-free. Sucker's got a little water pressure on it. We just got our tanks filled up. We got all our plants moved from our wagon onto the planter. But it is lunchtime, so we're gonna head back to the farm and get something to eat. And while we're doing that, we're gonna continue filling up this tank. Let's see, what are we having for lunch? Ooh, it looks like we're having pasta salad, and Grandma made some chicken nuggets for us all. Looks good to me. Yeah, that's a lot of rocks. As you can see, once we got finished off with lunch, we made our way back out here. I have now got Joel with me, the professional left-handed planter on the farm. He's gonna be working on that side, I'm gonna be working on this side, and the plan is to continue putting tomatoes and whatever else we want into the soil. For our tomatoes, at this point, we've got a lot of craziness going on. There's a few different varieties, so Joel and I are gonna have to communicate a lot. A lot of heirlooms, and then a lot of like cherry and specialty tomatoes. Joel's finishing off his, and then boom. Right in mine. Look at this little guy. Oh, that's gonna be a lot of fun later on my sandwich. Yummy. Now we only have a few packs of each of these heirloom and specialty tomatoes. So I'm doing one, and then Joel is switching over to his variety, and we're just gonna go back and forth to try and make it easier on us. We just put in 4 heirloom varieties. After that, we went into some cherry and grape varieties. Joel did some yellow pear grape tomatoes or cherry tomatoes. I did some sweet orange cherry, one of our most popular, and Joel is finishing it off with some grape. We're finishing off our last variety of plum, and then we're gonna be moving on to round tomatoes. Now the round tomatoes we're gonna be starting with are Primo Red. You may have seen us plant those before. They're a great variety, and we're looking forward to having them again this year. From the time we got started this morning all the way up there, we have thus planted to right where the tractor is sitting at. We just ran out of plants, so Dad is currently driving home to pick up a few more. We have a row and a half that we need to finish off yet, and then we're gonna be moving on to peppers. Now, the plan is to finish off with tomatoes, but we might sprinkle a few eggplant in there. Just know that so far we've been making a lot of progress and everything's been moving smoothly. I like when things are moving smoothly. Little bit of an update. We finished off a lot of our rows. We're all finished with 1 wheel on the planter. We are gonna need a second wheel because we are moving on to peppers. You can see we've got our little wagon all filled up and ready to go. We just need to get this planter filled back up with water, and we need to get another helper because Joel had to leave to take care of horses. Daniel is working on plowing, but we're hoping to get a hold of him. Welcome back, Daniel. I know you missed me and you're ready to get back to planting.
I was in air conditioning. Why would I want to be out here?
I don't know, you get to spend a little time with your big brother. You get to put some peppers in the ground. Seems like a good idea to me.
But I was driving tractor.
That's nice too. Now I might have to adjust things as we go out through, but as you can see, biggest difference is there's 2 wheels. So that means we're gonna go through twice as many plants and twice as much water. But something else to keep in mind is we're gonna have to go twice as slow because we don't want to miss anything. We are starting off the peppers with some habaneros. Good thing to get started with, something nice and spicy. We just went through and planted some specialty stuff. We got some habaneros planted. We did red and orange. We also got some ghost chilies put into the soil. Now we're moving on to some peppers that are a little bit more popular. So we're working on some jalapeno next. Then we have poblano and hot cherry. What did we just plant? We did put some poblanos.
Jalapenos.
Jalapeno, yeah, and now we're working on hot cherry peppers. You know those big old hot cherry peppers that people love to stuff? Oh yeah. We just got done with our last fill up of water for the day. We are gonna be finishing off with the hot cherry, and then we're moving into long hots. Hey Dad, watch you don't hit me off the wagon. You almost hit me off the wagon earlier. I had to say, oh, watch out. For those of you watching and saying, hey, that looks pretty fun to ride on the back of that thing. It can be a lot of fun. Daniel's excited, look at him. I think the most fun thing is seeing all the wonderful vegetables going to the ground. That's where I get my excitement. It's nice to ride on this in the beginning of the year, but then by the time you're done with it, you're like, yeah, I'm glad I don't have to see that thing till next year. Woo! That's it for planting today. Well, that is exciting. Look at that, all that we got planted today. I think we're all pretty happy about that. That's a lot of plants put into the soil. Now it's gonna be a little bit of time till we eventually get to harvest, but this is that like first real big step. When we put down the mulch, that was one thing, but now that the plants are in the soil, it's just a matter of time. Man, this is one of my favorite times of the year. There's just so much stuff planted, and it all looks so good. I'll tell you what, we are just so blessed with how everything has been grown. It just all looks so good. We're just gonna hope that it continues to be like this throughout the entire year, because if the way things have been going here in spring is any indication of what the year will be like, it's gonna be a good year. What do you got there, Callie?
I got these.
Yeah, we got little caterpillars. So we got a little butterfly growing kit for Callie. Are you excited?
Yeah.
What's gonna happen? The caterpillars are gonna turn into what?
Chrysalis.
Yep, and then once they go from a chrysalis, what do they turn into?
That's into butterfly.
Very good. So yeah, that's something that's been really, really exciting for everybody. Getting ready for these caterpillars, chrysalises, and butterflies. And then we have little Miss Lily and Mr. Ronnie here. Look at these two. Such beautiful babies. How you guys doing? I missed you all day. Wow, growing so much. Hi, Lily. At this point in the day, everybody, though, it is time for dinner, and we are getting some food out. Just make it a little easier on us. I hear one of the babies is getting a little upset, so I gotta run over there and help out a little bit. But that does mean this is where we're gonna end the video. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. We're trying to hit 200K. Oh, we're so close. And thank you everybody that likes the videos. Such a big help. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.